Chapter 97. You kids nowadays only know how to play with your phones every day. What are you laughing about? His mother, Chi Fong, took the lead and walked to the unit where her sister, Chi Yen, lived. She nagged at Lu Qing for being reluctant to put down his phone when he was in the car. Lu Qing was carrying alcohol, cigarettes, chicken, fish and other gifts. He didn't dare to talk back and could only laugh dryly. Fortunately, there was a generation gap between him and his mother, so she didn't find out that he was in love with her. As for whether it was a one-sided romance, judging from Yenjika's performance and their interactions during this period, he vaguely felt that it was more than a friend. Whether they were lovers or not was another matter. He should not have any misconception that he was feeling good about himself and made a mistake, which could ruin the good situation. The revolution hasn't succeeded yet. Comrades still need to work hard. You don't understand. Nowadays, the younger generation communicates on the internet, unlike us in the past. Lu Jisheng was also carrying a lot of gifts. Why don't I understand? If I didn't understand, would I only nag? I saw on TV that some parents are so heartless and irresponsible that they send their children to some internet addiction treatment center. Chi Fong rambled on. In the blink of an eye, they came to the third floor and pressed the doorbell. Lu Qing had a very good impression of his aunt's house and the small supermarket that they had developed from a grocery store. He loved to play here when he was a child. Every time he looked pitifully at some snacks, his aunt, Chi Yen, who had a sharp tongue but a soft heart, would give some to him. Because of their poor family background, he rarely had snacks. The door opened and Chi Yen, in a white down jacket, took the gifts from Chi Fong with a smile. She glanced at Lu Qing and teased him, "Qing, your mom is willing to let you do heavy work." Chi Yen and Chi Fong looked very similar, but there were almost no crow's feet. She looked like she was in her early 30s instead of her late 40s. She was very good at taking care of herself. I'm not a kid anymore. Of course I have to help carry things. Chi Fong changed her shoes and walked into the house. When they were in middle school and high school, she didn't want Lu Qing to study hard and rarely let him do housework. Even when she visited relatives and friends, she would carry the lightest things. Lu Qing raised the items in his hand and flexed his muscles. He said with a smile, "I'm strong now. This is a piece of cake." While talking and laughing, the family of three entered the house. They saw Lu Cheng's grandparents and uncle, Chen Wenhua. Grandpa, Grandma, Uncle. Lu Qing greeted them one by one, feeling a little regretful that he couldn't spend the new year at his grandfather's house. Although her uncle was considered a live-in son-in-law, her grandparents were only in their 60s. Their bodies were strong, and their spirits were high. They still lived in their hometown in the countryside, tending to a few acres of land and raising a few chickens. They were reluctant to leave the familiar environment and the relatives and neighbors that they had lived with for many years. There was a small river at the entrance. The deepest part of the river was only a little above the ankle. If you were lucky, you could really catch small fish. Further up, there was a reservoir where you could fish. Along the mountain road, there was land contracted by his relatives. There were all kinds of fruit trees planted there. In the ditch beside, tadpoles were looking for their mothers. Every year during the holidays, Lu Qing would go there to play, like a wild horse. 2. Lu Cheng's grandpa's face was ruddy. He said with vigor, "Why didn't you come here for a few days before the new year? Come and sit down. There are sunflower seeds, peanuts, and soft candy. Choose what you like." Lu Qing wanted to say that he didn't like peanuts, soft candy, or sunflower seeds, but when he saw the eager and enthusiastic eyes of his grandparents, he swallowed the words back down and ate a soft candy. Maybe because he was the first child of his generation, his grandparents doted on him very much. As for her grandfather, other than not having studied much, he was an all-rounder. The furniture here, the furniture in the old house in the countryside, were all made by him. Furthermore, he was a good cook. He could farm, raise chickens, fish, and catch birds. He was her idol when she was young. The family sat down and talked about Lu Cheng's college life for a long time. After a while, they moved on to other topics to let Lu Cheng have some time. "How are Fei Fei and Xiao Xiao?" he asked his two cousins. The two girls were still in junior high school. One was in her third year, and the other was in her first year. The older one was called Qi Yunfei, and the younger one was called Qin Xiao Xiao. Aunt Qi Yan said angrily, "I don't know where they went so early in the morning. Wait until noon. If they don't come back for lunch, I'll break their legs." Lu Qing changed the topic. "Aunt, where can I buy the original proof wine and Maojian green tea from Ningshui Brewery? Don't we have them in our supermarket?" Uncle Qin Wenhua interrupted in confusion. He and Lu Cheng's grandpa lived in the same village. He liked Qi Yan since he was a child. Because he had an elder brother, he moved his in-laws by being a live-in son-in-law. He was diligent and worked hard in the county with Qi Yan for many years. He worked in the grocery store, and from the grocery store to the small supermarket. He bought a house and paid off the loan. Lu Qing couldn't help but laugh. "Uncle, I know what the original proof wine and Maojian green tea in your supermarket are. No one will believe you just because of the price." Chen Wenguo laughed. "Don't look down on them. The original proof wine in our supermarket is also from Ningshui Brewery. Together with the sorghum from the farmers nearby, it tastes very good. Why are you asking about these two? They are not sold very often. The ones in the market are either fake or shoddy. You can't get the real one without some connections." Qi Yan asked in confusion. Lu Jisheng and Qi Fang also looked at their son in surprise. They didn't understand why he asked this. Lu Qing said half-truthfully, "I have a friend who is going to pay a New Year's visit to his elder brother. His elder brother is from Ningshui and only likes the original proof wine and Maojian green tea from Ningshui Brewery. He heard that I'm going back to Ningshui, so he asked me to ask if I can buy it." If he directly mentioned Director Xing, wouldn't he be exposing his own shortcomings and frightening his parents? If he doesn't have any connections, we can only rely on luck. And now it's the new year. Alas! Qi Yan was in a dilemma. At this time, Lu Cheng's grandpa Qi Jiayu said, "Yan, isn't Deng Lao-san well-connected and popular? He always praises himself for his connections. Why don't you ask him for Qing?" "Bah, that Deng Lao-san is so arrogant. Every time he sees him, he looks like he wants to beat him up. And he speaks in a sarcastic tone. Why would I go to him for no reason?" Qi Yan said grumpily. Lu Qing also smiled and said, "Don't bother. Anyway, it's just a friend who asked me to ask. It doesn't matter if I can't buy it. Would it kill you to ask him for Qing?" Lu Cheng's grandmother Kong Meijin gently pinched Qi Yan. Okay, I'll ask. Cheng, come with me. It's on the second floor." Qi Yan curled her lips and said. Auntie is a classic example of a sharp tongue but a soft heart. Lu Qing secretly laughed and stood up, following behind her. After a few steps, the two quickly went down the stairs and arrived at the door of Deng Laosan's house. Qi Yan pressed the doorbell and said angrily, "Qing, bear with it later. Deng Laosan's words are not pleasant to hear. Just treat it as a mad dog barking at you." Okay. After what happened yesterday, Lu Qing felt that most of his rashness and impulsiveness had been worn away. After a short while, the dark red door opened. A man with thinning hair said, "Qi Yan, you don't come here for no reason. What can I do for you?" He combed one side of his hair to the other side to cover the blankness in the middle. With several pimples on his face, he seemed to be quite angry. "Deng Lao-san, didn't you say that you have a wide network? Can you get the original proof wine and Maojian green tea from Ningxue Brewery? Qi Yan asked directly. Deng Lao-san looked her and Lu Qing up and down and laughed. You also want to buy these two things? Is it necessary? Do your friends and relatives need to give you these two things? Why do you have to pretend to be rich? It's a waste of money and connections. I'm just asking if you can buy them. Do you have connections? Qi Yan took a deep breath and said. Lu Qing felt that his aunt was about to explode. He pulled her and said with a smile, we're asking for someone else. Deng the Third didn't let them in. He just stood at the door and said, then I'll tell you the truth. I can get them, but I can't get them for you. These two things don't look expensive, but they are priceless. It depends on connections. Do you understand? Connections. With my connections, I can only get a limited amount of them. I don't even think it's enough for me to do favors. What kind of relationship do you have with me? How much money can you give me? Why should I give you a bargain? Fine. Fine. Qi Yan was furious. Why do you have to say such harsh words? If Lu Qing didn't stop her, she might have quarreled with him. Lu Qing didn't want to buy them from Deng Lao-san at a high price, which went against the purpose of the small gift. When they got home, Qi Yan complained in front of her mother, saying that Deng Lao-san had ulcers on his head and pus on his feet. Auntie has no connections. I don't know many people in Ningxue. Who can I ask for help? Can I just buy ordinary Ningxue daku and green tea? Lu Qing murmured in his heart while listening to them. If Wang Su was still here, it wouldn't be difficult to get the original proof wine, except for Yan Jika who was in Jiangnan, Tao Xiaofei, Qin Rui, and Dai Lin Feng were the only ones who could get it. Lu Qing was still a student, so his social circle was dominated by his classmates. He went to the balcony, opened his contact list, and called Tao Xiaofei. After a long ring, Tao Xiaofei said with a heavy nasal voice and sleepy voice, Brother Lu, what's the matter? You're still in bed. Lu Qing greeted him first. Tao Xiaofei smiled bitterly. I went to bed at 6. You're so young. You're not afraid of your health. Lu Qing joked and changed the topic. Do you know where I can buy the original proof wine and Maojian green tea from Ningxue Brewery? Tao Xiaofei felt strange. Brother Lu, why do you ask this? I've troubled Director Xing with the previous matter. I've made an appointment to visit him and want to get something he likes. Lu Qing said honestly. Tao Xiaofei laughed. Brother Lu, you've asked the right person. Wait, I'll bring it to you directly. Are 2 bottles and 2 boxes enough? Yes, yes. I'll give you the money. Lu Qing said happily. We're so close that we don't need to talk about money. Hee, to tell you the truth, my dad is also into this kind of stuff. I'm going to smuggle some to you. Anyway, he's not bad. I can get it later. Tao Xiaofei grinned. Lu Qing couldn't help but laugh. Aren't you afraid that Uncle Tao will beat you? No, he's thick-skinned. And he wants to beat me every day. Tao Xiaofei said this like a normal teenager instead of a gangster who spent a lot of time in bars. By the way, Brother Lu, where are you? I'll bring it to you directly. No, I'm in Ningxue. You can give it to me before the 7th. Lu Qing smiled. Tao Xiaofei said, then I'll bring it to you. It'll only take a few minutes. My mom is going to spend the winter in South Sea. I'm not sure when I'll leave Shushan. After telling him the address, Lu Qing went back to the living room and chatted with his grandparents and aunts. About 40 minutes later, his phone rang. Tao Xiaofei had arrived. While talking on the phone, Lu Qing walked out of the building and saw the BMW 7 Series at the gate of the community. Brother Lu. Tao Xiaofei got out of the car and gave him a bag with 2 bottles of original proof wine and 2 boxes of Maojian green tea. The original proof wine was simply packaged like the one produced in the small workshop next door. Although it's ugly, the simpler the packaging, the better it is. Tao Xiaofei said with a smile. Lu Qing looked at it and held it in his hand. He said sincerely, "Sorry to trouble you." "It's no trouble at all." Tao Xiaofei said straightforwardly, "We're old classmates." At this point, he smacked his lips. "I'm not asking you to help me fight. After seeing that scene yesterday, I was really shocked. I don't like to dance and seek excitement like I used to. I've become *king good guy in the bar. Last night, someone stole the girl I had my eyes on, but I didn't say anything. Anyway, it's not my wife or girlfriend. Do you think there's a shortage of girls in the bar? Why do you have to be angry and fight for this?" Lu Qing looked at him in surprise. "It's good that you have this awareness. You have money and connections. If you lose yourself because of a girl in the bar, you'll be wronged. Who can you reason with then?" Tao Xiaofei nodded solemnly. "Living is the most important thing. You can only enjoy life when you're alive." "Huh, you look like an old man." Lu Qing joked. Tao Xiaofei returned to normal and said with a smile, "Brother Lu, I'm not asking you for anything. With your current strength and age, you may become a famous master on TV in the future. At that time, don't pretend you don't know me. I can brag to my friends. Look. Hero Lu and I had barbecue together last night. We've been friends since childhood. No problem." "Haha, you're so nice." Lu Qing agreed with a smile. Watching Tao Xiaofei drive away, he told Yan Zhika about it with a smile. Then he carried the things and went back to his aunt's house. When he was about to reach the door, he heard Deng III's voice from inside. "Yes or no? Tell me. You're lucky. I have a friend who hasn't sent out a gift yet. I want to convert it into money." A bottle of original proof wine is 800 yuan, a box of Maojian green tea is 1,200 yuan, so the total is 2,000 yuan. Do you want it or not? Just tell me. I'm telling you, it's more expensive than normal, but I promise it's real. You won't get it again if you miss it. What's your family's connection? You can't get it in your life without luck. Lu Qing couldn't help laughing. He pushed open the half-closed door and said, "No need. I've got it." "Got it?" Qi Fang, Qi Yan, and the others all looked at him in surprise. Qing just answered a phone call and went out for 10 minutes. How could he get it? You got it. Is it fake? Deng III's face darkened. He walked to Lu Qing and took the bag recklessly. He rummaged through it carefully and then fell into silence. After a while, he asked in confusion, "How much did you pay for it?" "It's real, but don't waste your money." Lu Qing smiled and said, "I didn't. Someone gave it to me." Chapter 98. A gift? Deng III opened his mouth and raised his voice a lot. Before Lu Qing could answer, his face reddened like the cloth worn by the bullfighters on TV. It was as if blood was about to drip out of his face. He murmured as if he wanted to ask for clarification, but couldn't. Finally, he laughed and said, "It's good that you have it." As he spoke, he put down the bag and quickly rushed to the door. He didn't pay attention and tripped over the threshold. He stumbled a few steps and almost fell into the opposite door. Then, without looking back, he hurriedly went downstairs. The living room of Qi Yan's house was quiet. After a few seconds, Lu Cheng's mother asked in confusion, "Qing, who gave it to you? What kind of social connections could a kid who had just entered college have? How could he find a way to get the original proof spirit and Maojian green tea from Ningshui Daku for free? As a mother, she felt that she had to figure it out, in case her son was cheated by others. Lu Qing explained with a smile, "Mom, do you remember Tao Xiaofei? I sat in front of him for a long time in high school. You should have seen his mom or dad at the parent-teacher conference, right?" Shushan No. 1 Middle School's tradition was to arrange the parents according to the student's original position during the parent-teacher conference. Yes, his mom always praised you for being good at studying and steady. She wanted to use you as a role model for Tao Xiaofei. Qi Fang immediately recalled. His mom was really dressed like a jewel. Lu Jisheng couldn't help but laugh. Oh, you learned to use idioms. Jewel is really good. Qi Fang stared at him. I don't dare to compare myself with a great intellectual. But since an illiterate like me can learn to use idioms, shouldn't you, a great intellectual, learn to cook? I'll leave it to you in the future. Lu Jisheng laughed and didn't answer. He looked at Lu Qing and asked, Tao Xiaofei gave it to you? Yes, I asked him with the intention of giving it a try. He said he had a lot of them at home, so he gave me some. Lu Qing turned back and closed the door. You guys are quite close. He even gave it to you from afar. Qi Yan interrupted. Chen Wenguo said thoughtfully, the Tao family's background isn't bad. Not bad. Lu Qing didn't know whether he was answering his aunt or his uncle. Suddenly, Qi Yan clapped her hands together and clapped. She said excitedly, Qing, it's only been a while since we last met. You've grown so much. This is the first time I've seen third brother Deng so embarrassed. Io, what do you mean by our family's connections? If you don't rely on luck, you won't be able to get it in this lifetime. Then I gave him 2 bottles and 2 boxes, and they were all free gifts. She seemed to have vented the resentment in her chest. Qi Fang chimed in, I wanted to beat that Deng the third just now. Her eyebrows and eyes were full of joy. She was immersed in the gratification of her son's ability. The problem that the adults couldn't solve was solved with just a phone call. Since your classmate said he would give it to you, we can't just take it for free, Lu Jisheng said after pondering for a while. Lu Qing said with a smile, Dad, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Qi Jiayu was about to praise him when he suddenly heard the sound of the key turning. He saw the door open and 2 little girls bouncing in. He laughed and said, Fei, Xiao, if you come back a little later, your mom will break your legs. My mom. She's just joking. Qi Yunfei wrinkled her nose and said disdainfully. Qi Yan's face darkened. I'm just joking. You haven't been beaten for a long time. Are you itching for a beating? Mom, I won't do it again. Qi Yunfei suddenly became a lackey. Her attitude changed so fast that Lu Qing was amazed. His 2 cousins had been lively and mischievous since they were young. The effect of the devil incarnate plus the devil incarnate was definitely more than 1 + 1. Moreover, they could be considered as the most beautiful among his siblings. Although they were not very beautiful, in the words of the Ningshui dialect, they were little good. They looked cute and comfortable. Brother Lu Qing, when did you arrive? While her sister was flattering her mother, Chen Xiaoxiao looked at Lu Qing with a smile. She looked very similar to her sister, Qi Yunfei, especially when both of them had air bangs. However, the baby fat on her face was still there, and her eyes were a little bigger. She was less beautiful, but more cute. We arrived a long time ago. Lu Qing said in an exaggerated and heavy tone. After exchanging a few pleasantries, the 2 girls went back to their rooms to tidy up and prepare for lunch. Lu Qing followed them into Qi Yunfei's boudoir and closed the door with his heel. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and said with a smirk, Tell me the truth. You ran out early in the morning on the second day of the new year. There must be something wrong. Chen Xiaoxiao pretended to shiver. Brother Lu Qing, it has nothing to do with me. I'm just a cover. Sister Feifei went on a date. Wow, you're in love at such a young age. Lu Qing looked at Qi Yunfei in surprise and laughed. Qi Yunfei first glanced at Chen Xiaoxiao. Traitor. Then she looked at Lu Qing and made a face. I'm 15 years old and in my 3rd year of middle school. What kind of love is this? It's useless to tell me. You have to tell your mother. Lu Qing raised his eyebrows. Qi Yunfei's face turned pale. Brother Lu Qing, you're not going to betray me, are you? It depends on your performance. If you don't get into Shushan No. 1 middle school or Ningshui No. 2 middle school, you know. Lu Qing put on a look of indifference. Seeing his exaggerated performance, Qi Yunfei was relieved. She was trembling while holding her phone. You scared me too. I thought there was a thief. Lu Qing didn't cover the receiver and said directly. Qi Yunfei exhaled and said, Is there a thief as cute as me? My boyfriend called and I was afraid to wake Xiao Xiao up, so I came out to the balcony to talk. She looked at Lu Qing and moved her eyebrows. She snickered. It seems that you are also a thief. Yeah. Lu Qing found it funny. What a coincidence. After that, they tacitly turned their backs and each occupied a corner of the balcony to talk on the phone. What happened just now? Yenjika asked curiously. Lu Qing said with a smile, I was at my aunt's house. I was afraid to wake the people in the room, so I ran out to the balcony to talk on the phone. I bumped into my cousin. Puff, what was she doing on the balcony in the middle of the night? Yenjika laughed. Lu Qing said with a smile, puppy love. She was talking on the phone with her boyfriend. After that, he turned around and saw Qi Yunfei turn her head and stare at him. It seemed that she was saying, You are such a big mouth. You forget your sister when you see a girl. You are not loyal. Lu Qing didn't care and pretended not to see. After chatting with Yenjika for a few minutes, he was afraid that he would delay her getting up early tomorrow. So he said, Can I ask for a birthday present? You can ask. It's up to me whether I approve or not. Yenjika answered with a smile. Lu Qing seemed to be able to imagine her smile. Quietly turning on the recording function, Lu Qing said excitedly, Sing a birthday song for me. Humph, for the sake of your birthday. Yenjika said proudly and gently hummed the song. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Well, what do you wish for? Hurry up and make a wish. Lu Cheng's heart was full of joy. After thinking for a while, he hinted, as the old saying goes, I only wish that there will be a day every year. You will be every year, you will be every year. That's a good wish. Yenjika's voice had a trace of a smile. Then she said quickly, I'm going to bed. You should hurry up and get up early tomorrow. Good night. Good night. Seeing that her attitude was not cold, Lu Qing felt good about himself again. After hanging up the phone, he was so happy that he wanted to scream. But with his cousin Qi Yunfei behind him, he couldn't forget himself and lose his dignity as a brother. Forcing himself to hold back, he went back to the living room and waved his arms quietly. The beginning of 19 years was so beautiful. After doing all this, he guiltily turned his head to look at the balcony. He saw Qi Yunfei was also secretly looking at him with one hand tightly covering her cheek. She also forgot herself. They looked at each other and smiled. With tacit understanding, they each made a gesture of encouragement to the other. In the next few days, Lu Qing fully enjoyed his holiday life. After getting up early to practice, he didn't have to be busy with classes and computer rooms. He didn't have to split his time in half. Besides having fun with his family and relatives, he also chatted with Yenjika, called her, and video called her. In his spare time, he read novels, surfed the internet, mingled in different groups, watched his own private forum, or found Zhang Fei and Qing Chili to play games and guide them to strengthen their bodies. His life was so comfortable that his body and mind were relaxed. The fight on the morning of the first day of the new year seemed to have happened several years ago. It no longer bothered him in his dreams. Time flew. Soon it was the 7th day of the new year. It was time to visit Director Xing. Chapter 99. Before he left, Lu Qing called Director Xing again to confirm. This was a question of courtesy. Even though Director Xing had said that he could come at any time on the 7th day of the new year, he couldn't just walk in like that. What if Director Xing hadn't woken up yet? What if Director Xing was entertaining an important guest? Lu, when are you coming? Director Xing's hearty voice came into Lu Cheng's ears as soon as the call connected. Lu Qing smiled and said, I'm just about to leave. I was worried that you might have other guests, so I called to ask. I do have other guests, but they'll leave soon. Feel free to come over. I'll let the guard know, Director Xing replied in a relaxed tone. Okay. Lu Qing hung up the phone and booked a cab. Carrying the bag of wine and tea, he went downstairs unhurriedly. He was in a strange mood. This was the first time he paid a New Year's greeting as an individual. It was as if he had stepped into society in advance and become an adult. In less than 20 minutes, he arrived at Mingshan Community on South Ruiyuan Street. After giving his name, he easily passed through the security and arrived at Unit 2, Block 3, where Director Xing lived. There was a one-staircase design here. Lu Qing didn't need to identify when he got out of the elevator. He went straight to the copper-clad door and rang the doorbell. Ding-dong sounds echoed, and the door was quickly opened. A young man walked out with half of his body and said with a smile, Director Xing, please wait. There are other guests. Xing Qingwu laughed heartily and said, be careful on your way back. Do your job well when you get back. You need to make new progress in the new year. After that, he turned to Lu Qing and said, come in. Make yourself at home. The young man looked at Lu Qing curiously, but didn't say anything. He turned and walked to the elevator. After entering the house and changing his shoes, Lu Qing noticed that Director Xing was quite a burly man. Even in casual home clothes, he couldn't hide his strong and capable temperament. Damn, I was so shocked that I didn't pay much attention to what kind of person Director Xing was. If I met him on the street, I probably wouldn't recognize him. Lu Qing wiped away the non-existent cold sweat and handed over the bag in his hand. Uncle Xing, Happy New Year. Good luck. You're just a junior. Why are you bringing gifts? I'm still wondering if I should give you your lucky money. Xing Qingwu joked and accepted the gift without hesitation. He opened it and frowned slightly. Ningxue Winery's Original Proof Spirit and Maojian Green Tea. You're just a kid, why do you have to be so grand? You must have spent a lot of money, right? I didn't spend any money. I happen to have money at home, so I thought I'd offer it to you. Lu Qing put away the unfamiliarity he felt when he just walked in and answered with a smile. Xing Qingwu's brows smoothed out as he laughed. Since you didn't spend any money, I'll accept it. Not bad, you're offering Buddha with borrowed flowers. This is exactly what I want. I don't have many hobbies in my life, but I like these too. This is because an expert gave me pointers. Lu Qing made a joke. Xing Qingwu put the bag on the coffee table and gestured for Lu Qing to sit down. He asked in confusion, Master. Lu Qing smiled and said, Yenjike and I were classmates. She told me that you like to drink a cup of tea during the day and a bottle of wine at night. Xing Qingwu was pleasantly surprised. You and Young Ku are classmates. Why didn't you tell me earlier? You didn't have to find me through your master. It seems that we're fated to meet. Then I won't stand on ceremony and treat you as my nephew. Didn't I call you Uncle Xing long ago? Lu Qing said humorously. Yenjike told me that you're good at gold and jade body and modern Xingyi. He planned to leave after a few words. Otherwise, he would feel uncomfortable. After all, he wasn't very familiar with Director Xing. If he shamelessly stayed, it would only make them speechless. Yeah. Xing Qingwu said proudly. If it weren't for my gold and jade body, how could I sit and talk to you like this? I would either be paralyzed or honorably sacrificed. These words tickled his itch, and he started talking non-stop. I cultivated step by step in a proper martial arts school, and finally entered the police academy. As far as our work is concerned, this kind of physical hard body skill is the most suitable. Unlike you guys, who have referees and supervisors watching over you when you fight in the arena. If we really encounter criminals with guns or criminals with real kung fu, we can only fight with our lives on the line. Although the golden jade body can't protect us from gunshots, it can at least turn a serious injury into a minor one while avoiding the vital parts. This kind of kung fu has saved countless police officers. Lu Qing was inexperienced. It was the first time he heard about this kind of thing. He listened with great interest and echoed from time to time. It seems that Director Xing doesn't belong to the big forces. He's a martial artist trained by the country. He thought thoughtfully. While Director Xing was talking, the bedroom door creaked open. A tall, middle-aged woman with her hair tied up in a bun came out. She had delicate features and slender legs. She said coquettishly, "Dad, I'm going shopping with Mom. As long as you're at home, we won't have a peaceful New Year. Several groups of people will come in an hour." Just as she finished speaking, she suddenly noticed a strange man. Her expression immediately sank and became as cold as ice, keeping people thousands of miles away. Lu Qing was too embarrassed to sit. He stood up with Director Xing and listened to Director Xing's introduction. Maybe you can meet in the National University Martial Arts Competition in the future. Uncle Xing, don't worry. I plan to make martial arts my future. Lu Qing answered sincerely. After chatting for a while, he left. Director Xing didn't ask him to stay. In the next few days, Lu Qing left this matter behind and continued his leisurely holiday life. In the blink of an eye, the day of school was approaching. Chapter 100. Thinking of the new martial arts mentioned by Geezer Shi, the upcoming preliminaries, and the fact that he would become one of the pillars of the martial arts club. More importantly, he thought of Yenjike, whom he had not seen for the whole winter vacation. It was the first time that Lu Qing was so eager to start school. A day without seeing each other felt like 3 years. How many days and nights had it been? Even the constant chatting, phone calls, and video calls couldn't compare to having a living girl by his side. He couldn't wait to buy a ticket and get on the train to Songqing. But before that, he had to wait for a message and confirm a premise. I'm in the dormitory. I'm going to pack now. Yenjike sent an emoji. When did you get on the train? Didn't you book a ticket again? Lu Qing was delighted and answered without hesitation, yes, tonight. I'll be there tomorrow morning. He knew that Yenjike was flying to Songqing today, so he booked the train ticket for tonight. But in case the plane was delayed or cancelled, he was ready to change the ticket at any time. So he didn't tell Yenjike that he had booked a ticket. The action officially started. The action of bringing Shushan delicacies to his beloved girl. While Yenjika was packing and cleaning the dormitory, he put in his wallet, grabbed his keys, and left the dormitory in a hurry. "Hey, Cheng, are you having dinner at home tonight?" His mother, Chi Fong, looked at his back and shouted. "Yes." Lu Qing answered from a distance. He didn't stop and walked to the entrance of the community. It was 3:00 in the afternoon. He had to hurry, or the braised quail eggs and steamed beef pies would be gone. A few minutes later, the online taxi arrived. He opened the door and threw himself in, throwing out a sentence, "Old Xinhua bookstore." More than 20 minutes later, Lu Qing finally arrived at the entrance of the Old Xinhua bookstore. Seeing that the stall selling braised quail eggs was still there, he immediately felt relieved. He took a few big strides forward, glanced at it and blurted out, "All by one." It wasn't that he didn't want to bring more, but he had to consider the capacity of the insulated lunch box. Although it was a large one, there were other things, right? The reason why he had waited until the last moment was to ensure that the food would still be in its best condition when it was delivered to Yenjika. It tasted 70 to 80% normal. In order to confirm whether these stores would be open and when they would be sold out, he had checked the time twice and rehearsed the route. If Yenjika had arrived in Songqing 2 hours later today, he would have changed the ticket to tomorrow night. The stall owner glanced at him and muttered, "Young man, only one serving." That being said, his hands didn't slow down. He opened the small food bag and filled it to the brim. At 8:00, Yenjika finished her morning exercise and began to chat with him intermittently. After confirming that she had taken a shower with hot water, Lu Qing took a deep breath and sent a snickering emoji. "I brought you a glutinous rice cake. Come and eat." Yenjika sent a surprised emoji covering its mouth. "You really brought a glutinous rice cake? Hee hee, not bad. You still remember me, Coach Yen." "Good, I'm hungry." "Where are you?" "The microwave in the cafeteria." Lu Qing held back his excitement and answered. He quickly put the roasted eggplant, steamed beef pancake, and glutinous rice cake into the cafeteria. After a short while, he placed them one by one on the table in the cafeteria. He stood behind the food and looked at the entrance. Thump, 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 thump. His heart beat like a drum and his blood rushed into his brain, making him tremble slightly. He recalled what he had practiced repeatedly just now. After a short while, a beautiful figure that he had been thinking about day and night appeared at the entrance. Yenjika was wearing a white sweater, a plain long-down jacket, dark jeans, and snow boots. She attracted the attention of passers-by. She stood there, looking around in confusion, looking for traces. Her head was slightly tilted, and her black hair cascaded down like a waterfall. She was so beautiful that Lu Qing was in a trance. He almost forgot the breathing that he had practiced. Finally, she confirmed the location of the microwave oven and saw Lu Qing. Her lips curled into a faint smile. She raised her right hand, signaled him, and quickly approached him. Lu Qing hurriedly took 2 steps forward and met her at the table. Yenjika opened her pink lips and was about to say something when she suddenly saw the 4 delicacies on the table. Old Lu's roasted eggplant, steamed beef pancake, Wang's glutinous rice cake, braised quail egg, and 3 steaming dishes in front of her. She pouted and opened her mouth, forming a cute O shape. She immediately raised her right hand and covered her mouth. She turned her head and looked in the opposite direction. She swayed her long hair, leaving only a side profile of her face to Lu Qing. Her nose was straight, her face was rosy, and her skin was soft and smooth. Her long eyelashes drooped down and covered her eyes. After a short silence, she turned her head and looked at Lu Qing up and down. There seemed to be thousands of bright stars hidden in her eyes. Lu Qing had always heard that the eyes were the window to the soul and could see other people's emotions. But at this time, he could only read the surprise and joy in Yenjika's eyes. As for the rest, it was too complicated to say. Yenjika put down her right hand and lowered her head. She said with a smile, "You really brought all of them here." "Yes, I said I would repay Coach Yan's kindness. After all, you are my life mentor." Lu Qing just blurted out the answer and wanted to slap himself. Chapter 102. Pfft. Lu Qing almost burst out laughing. He replied with internet slang, "What? You want to rebel?" Kai Zhongming's aura flared up, but it immediately deflated. He said impatiently, "I'm showing my determination. Do you understand? Determination. Wait until I participate in the special training this semester. I'll compete with you before the summer break." "Okay, I'll wait and see." Lu Qing didn't harp on this matter and went straight to the point. He looked around and said in a low voice, "Talker, let's go to the balcony. I have something to ask you." Kai Zhongming took off the hero's headband on his forehead and said, "You and your goddess have made a breakthrough. You want me to tell you what to do next?" F***CK, how did you guess? Lu Qing was shocked. Kai Zhongming clicked his tongue. "Your face is full of lust. It's almost written on your forehead." Lu Qing touched his face and laughed dryly. "Is it that obvious?" While talking, the two came to the balcony and closed the glass door to the living room, isolating them from the outside world. Lu Qing was about to say something when Kai Zhongming said cheekily, "Since we're here to talk, I feel like I should smoke. Why don't you pretend to give me one and I'll pretend to smoke a few puffs?" "Ha!" Lu Qing looked at him with disdain. He took out an air cigarette from his pocket and passed it over. "Come, Casanova, have a smoke." "Sure." Kai Zhongming took the cigarette with a smile and put it in his mouth. Just as he was about to light the cigarette, Lu Qing said with a smile, "I have a fire. I'll light it for you." "Not bad. You have a good eye." Kai Zhongming praised. He leaned his head forward and pretended to wait for someone to light his cigarette. Lu Qing held back his laughter, reached out his right hand, and snapped his fingers in front of Kai Zhongming. Paw! A flame appeared and burned 2 strands of Kai Zhongming's hair. "Damn!" Kai Zhongming blurted out. The flames seemed to be still in his eyes. "You know how to do magic now." "Magic? Have you ever seen such a cool magic?" Lu Qing snapped his fingers again, and flames appeared one after another. Kai Zhongming touched a few strands of hair on his forehead, and his expression changed continuously. "Qing, I have to change what I said about fighting you before the summer break. How dare you use your supernatural ability to bully others?" Lu Qing snickered. "How? You're not thinking of backing out at the last minute, are you?" "How could that be? This is a man's promise, and I have to keep it." Kai Zhongming said righteously, "But you have to tie up one of your hands." "That's only fair." Okay. I'll only use one hand," Lu Qing said happily. At this time, Kai Zhongming finally recovered and asked in surprise and curiosity, "When did you awaken your superpower? Isn't it amazing? Didn't you watch the video of my fight with Yi Yaoding?" Lu Qing asked. Kai Zhongming suddenly understood and said, "That scene. I can't really remember the other matches, but that was the one that left the deepest impression." That girl wasn't bad. So your final burst of power was a byproduct of your awakening. Well, it's not amazing at the moment. I'm still developing and improving it slowly. It can only be used to light a cigarette. Lu Qing described the power of his supernatural ability truthfully. As for developing and improving it, it was inevitable. When he had the physical quality of a professional ninth pin, he would try to squeeze the gene Dan out of it. He would digest it little by little without exceeding the level of the challenge tournament. Kai Zhongming touched his chin and glanced at Lu Qing. You've changed a lot in just half a year. I always feel that you've encountered something unscientific, duh. Lu Qing laughed dryly and changed the topic. I've asked Yenjika out for a big meal in a few days. Casanova, do you think we'll have a chance to hold hands? Because he hadn't made a strategy, hadn't decided on a restaurant, and hadn't set a date yet. Hold hands. Kai Zhongming was confused. What level are you at? If you don't tell me clearly, I can't judge. Lu Qing recalled and said, as long as we're free, we chat on QQ from waking up to sleeping. Sometimes we talk on the phone or video. On my birthday, she waited until midnight to call me. When I asked for a birthday song as a gift, she sang it. Today, I brought her some of her favorite food. She was so surprised and happy that she agreed to have a big meal with me. After that, he looked at Kai Zhongming, waiting for his comments and advice. But he found that Casanova's mouth was half open and his face was full of confusion. Casanova. Lu Qing waved his hand in front of Kai Zhongming. Kai Zhongming shrank back and said in surprise, how did you progress so fast? What happened in the middle? I remember that you were still friends before the holidays. You didn't spend much time on QQ. With your character, it's impossible for you to improve by leaps and bounds. Seeing that even the veteran was shocked by his progress, Lu Qing was delighted. I think that the breakthrough in our relationship was during the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament. Because of our common interest in martial arts, my inexperience in the challenge tournament for the first time, and some surprising experiences after that, the gap between us was greatly shortened, Kai Zhongming said thoughtfully, no wonder. I've always thought that your goddess was the type that was hard to get. Otherwise, it wouldn't be your turn to court her. I was prepared for a long battle with you. I didn't expect that with the help of the challenge tournament, you would seize the opportunity. Lu Qing didn't mind his words. His eyes lit up and he said, you mean she likes me too? Kai Zhongming smiled slightly and said, don't be so direct. Girls are very complicated. Kai Zhongming coughed twice and said, since she agreed to go out with you privately, she should have some expectations in her heart. If you really don't do anything, she may be disappointed and worried about her gains and losses. She may wonder if your feelings for her have not reached a certain level. You have to do something, but don't make her nervous and stressed. What should I do? Lu Qing asked. Kai Zhongming smiled and said, find a chance to hold her hand, but don't really do it. Show a kind of excitement, expectation, jerkiness, and nervousness. Pretend that nothing is wrong. After failing twice, give up in frustration. Let her feel your feelings, but also keep the tension and stress from exceeding the limit. Even if in her heart, the relationship between you two hasn't reached the point of holding hands, there will be a limit to the decline of her feelings. After all, if you haven't really held hands, you can still continue to flirt and add fuel to the fire. After this, come back and observe her attitude. If there's no change, then there's more than a 70% chance of success. If there's a little indifference, it means that you haven't reached the right level and still have to work hard. If it's the former, try to ask her out after a while. If she really does accept, it means that she's mentally prepared. Boldly find a chance to hold hands. Lu Qing was stunned and felt that little Ming was really a genius. After a long time, he said, have you tried this trick? Kai Zhongming spread his hands and said, of course not. Lu Qing's mouth twitched a few times. Then why did you teach me? Do you think I need to use this kind of probing technique? With my vision, experience, and level, do you think I can't grasp when to hold hands? Kai Zhongming said proudly, don't worry. In the name of Casanova, that trick will definitely work. Of course, if the other party is the slow type and doesn't notice your intention to hold hands, then I can't do anything. Also, you have to observe the situation. If the atmosphere is good enough and the reaction is right, then you can turn it into reality and hold hands for real. Lu Qing frowned. Do you think a newbie like me can grasp such a complicated thing? Your true colors are more or less enough. Kai Zhongming mocked him. His true colors were that he was inexperienced, nervous, and wanted to pretend as if nothing had happened. Lu Qing didn't refute. He nodded slightly and confirmed the plan. In the end, he said, "Is Qin Mo here? I need to make a gourmet guide. He's a Songqing local. It's better to ask him than to search online. He's still sleeping. You can wait until noon." Kai Zhongming patted Lu Cheng's shoulder and made a gesture of encouragement. He opened the glass door and returned to the living room. Lu Cheng took out his phone and called Gizershur. "Master, I'm back at the dormitory." Gizershur scolded jokingly, "You're finally willing to come back. Well, everyone's here. We'll start the special training at 8 a.m. tomorrow. You'll wake up at 5:30 a.m. as usual and wait for me at the usual place." "Okay." Lu Qing didn't hesitate. It was time to start the martial arts training from morning to noon again, but now I'm no longer an ignorant person. Chapter 103. Lu Qing spent the whole morning changing, washing, and chatting with Yan Zhike. When the door of the dormitory next door opened, he jumped in and found Qin Mo, who was sleeping on the bed opposite Kai Zhongming. Qin Mo was a local rich second generation, but he was not like Tao Xiaofei, who was a playboy. He had self-control and was smart enough. He wore a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, was tall and thin, and had sparse eyes. He was the standard model of a refined beast. "Qin Mo, I want to ask you something," Lu Qing said with a smile. Kai Zhongming, who was chatting with his girlfriend, stopped and looked back with a face full of gossip. Qin Mo pushed his glasses and asked in surprise, "What's the matter?" "I've been in Songqing for half a year, but I haven't seen this place before. I want to try out the local delicacies. What do you recommend?" Lu Qing found a random reason and made his request clear. Qin Mo's face was full of realization. "Oh, are you chasing a girl? Why do you say that?" Lu Qing asked in surprise. Kai Zhongming couldn't help but laugh. Qin Mo laughed. "If you don't go with a girl, do you want to find a group of men? Or be a lonely gourmet? Then I'll mourn for you for 5 minutes. Okay, get to the point," Lu Qing urged with a dry laugh. Qin Mo thought for a while and said, "Don't go to Jushi Street. It used to be okay, but after it became famous, it became a place to fool tourists. I'll tell you which one I want. You choose your own taste. Some things are really not to your liking, okay?" Lu Qing put on the posture of a primary school student and recorded the names, addresses, and specialties of the restaurants Qin Mo mentioned in his phone memo. After 10 minutes, looking at the densely packed record, he was full of achievement. He sighed and said, "I'll go online to check the reviews and confirm the taste. Finally, I'll go check out 2 or 3 restaurants in the next few days." "Check out?" Qin Mo was a little confused. Kai Zhongming knew Lu Qing quite well. He chuckled and said, "He's going to try the food first to make sure his goddess is satisfied." Lu Qing added a little embarrassedly, "I'm from the same place as her, and I like the local specialties that she likes. In terms of taste, we should be relatively similar. If I've eaten it and it's not bad, then there's no problem. Moreover, the point of being on the lookout isn't just to taste the food. You also have to understand the surrounding situation. For example, if there's a cake shop, if there's a variety of cake she likes in the cake shop, if she can eat it for breakfast the next day, if there's a coffee shop or a quieter place to kill time, if the cinema is far away, if there's a movie that's suitable for girls to watch recently. In short, you have to be familiar with the surroundings so that you won't have to lead her astray if you really want to go somewhere. Chin Mo was stunned. After the official start of the semester, they were only allowed to enter and leave on weekends. Usually, they had to have a teacher's certificate or a student's certificate to take the school bus. In the first half of the last semester, they could buy a few more tickets on weekends and save them for other days. Later, they were defeated by the date and date printed on every ticket. In fact, with his skills, it wasn't difficult to find a place where no one could see and jump over a fence or a wall. But it didn't seem right to take a girl on her first date. Kai Zhongming's mouth twitched. What are you trying to say? Prepare for your date. If you're really worried, just pick 2 or 3 dates and put Valentine's Day among them. After all, you have to match her time, right? This way, she'll understand your intention for a date on Valentine's Day. You've got the attitude, and it's up to her whether she chooses or not. Of course, you have to be more attentive and give her more hints on that day. Got it. Lu Qing felt that listening to Casanova was better than studying for 10 years. Then he thought of another thing. Talker, I've mentioned it to Coach Shi. If you want to participate in the special training, you can gather at the Martial Arts Center at 8:00 tomorrow morning. Okay, I'm going to work hard. Kai Zhongming pretended to be serious. After a day of online searching, reading, and selecting, Lu Qing had 2 or 3 targets. He planned to check them out before the official start of the semester. In the early morning, the fog was dim. He changed into the Songqing University martial arts suit with white and black edges and jogged to the secluded place by the lake where he practiced daily. He saw Geezer Shi already waiting there. Show me your supernatural ability. Geezer Shi ordered directly. Of course, Lu Qing wouldn't rub his fingers to start a fire. That would be too low. He suddenly shook his arm and used abrupt force. With a snap, a layer of flame was ignited on the surface of his fist. Just like that. Geezer Shi looked disdainful. Lu Qing was embarrassed. Yeah, I'm still adapting. I haven't improved. Keep it up and see how long you can keep it up. Geezer Shi muttered. The cold wind was chilly and the flame was swaying. Lu Qing tried his best to keep it from going out instantly. Geezer Shi took out a cigarette and put it in his mouth. He moved closer and lit the end of the cigarette. He took a deep breath and exhaled green smoke from his nose. With this, Lu Qing's flame went out. It went out. You can only light a cigarette like that. Geezer Shi sneered. In actual combat, you can only have a certain effect if you're caught off guard. I was going to teach you how to combine your supernatural ability to imitate the moves of physical invulnerability. But now, combine my supernatural ability to imitate the moves of physical invulnerability. Lu Qing asked in surprise. Geezer Shi said with slight disdain, many supernatural abilities are just a weakened version of physical invulnerability. Of course, they can be used to imitate. That's why many supernatural ability users can defeat 7th or 8th pin Dan stage fighters if they don't use their supernatural ability and look like professional 9th pin fighters. As he spoke, he suddenly took a step forward, and with a hook of his right hand, he released a ball of sparkling white energy. It moved close to the ground, and wherever it passed, the grass and trees would turn into ice. When it hit a tree, it immediately covered it with a silver armor, and also eliminated all of its vitality. Lu Qing was inexplicably horrified and slightly stunned. Unlike the televised battles between physical invulnerability experts, the feeling of being close at hand was more real and more shocking. Master is really a physical invulnerability expert. Cough, cough, cough. Geezer coughed violently for a long time before glancing at Lu Qing proudly. Isn't my ice spirit force very similar to the power of frost? Yes, yes, yes. Lu Qing nodded subconsciously. Geezer calmed down and laughed inwardly. Even if you surprise me from time to time, you'll still be shocked by my ice spirit force. He pondered and said, I'll observe your power of blaze for a while and find a way to train it and increase its power. Okay, let's start today's practice. Today, I'll teach you 2 new martial arts. One is based on your mastery of meditation, listening skill and condensation stance. It's called Ice Mirror. It's a weakened version of the ice sex enemy heart freezing move. When you master it to the extreme, you'll be able to roughly sense the changes in your opponent's muscles within a radius of 2 meters without touching. However, this martial art is very difficult to master. Try to master it within 2 or 3 years. Of course, you can't rely on it completely. You still need to integrate the feedback from your eyes, nose, and ears. After so many years, many sects have developed moves to counter it. Some of them can hide, confuse, or counteract the movement. The other one is a new fighting style called Thunder Roar Zen. It's a martial art I created by combining the Thunder Sect's electric force and the Ice Sect's frozen force. In the body refining stage and Danchi stage, it manifests as explosion and collapse, which is commonly known as tremor force. When you hit your opponent, the force will explode explosively, shaking the opponent's body from the outside to the inside. It will shake the opponent's chi and blood and affect the internal organs. It's not something that can be blocked by a simple parry. Before I reached physical invulnerability, I risked my life in a war-torn zone and fought with a strong enemy. I hit him 19 times with the Thunder Roar Zen punch. Although he blocked every move in time, he was still shaken to the point of internal bleeding. The more I fought, the weaker he became. In the end, he died in my hands. Lu Qing was excited. So powerful. Geezer laughed. I watched your competition videos. Didn't you meet a guy who used modern cannon punches? That's because he didn't practice his kung fu well. He only had the force of the cannon, but not the force of the explosion. Otherwise, you would have been shaken to pieces and it wouldn't have been easy for you to regain your center of gravity. It's a pity that the supernatural ability you awakened isn't frost. Otherwise, you could have mastered the killing move of Thunder Roar Zen, severe warning in advance. In that case, one punch could shake the opponent's body, including his brain, and make him feel as if his mind was frozen by frost. He would be obviously stiff. I'll try to awaken the supernatural ability of frost. Lu Qing murmured to himself. It sounded like awakening supernatural abilities was like picking up cabbages. In the following time, he began to learn the corresponding training routines, force exertion skills, and special visualization. Before he knew it, it was almost 8 o'clock. After a quick breakfast, he hurried to the martial arts club. The special training members and the newly joined Kai Zongming had already arrived. Lu Qing glanced around and saw Yan Zhike beside Guo Qing. Yan Zhike was dressed in morning clothes. Her white Songqing University martial arts suit with black edges really made her look beautiful. They looked at each other and smiled warmly. Lu Qing walked briskly to Kai Zongming and his senior brother Li Mao, who had practiced with him last semester. Lu Qing, you look good. Li Mao greeted him. Lu Qing smiled. Senior brother Li, you look the same. You seem to be stronger. Li Mao said proudly, I didn't slack off during the holidays. I mastered part of the 24 blizzard strikes. I think I'm at the level of amateur second pin now. I'll try more actual combat this semester to overcome my nervousness. Awesome! Lu Qing praised sincerely. Chen Zhonghua, the president beside Li Mao, also smiled. Not bad. Our martial arts club has a successor. President Chen, I thought you wouldn't come this semester because of your internship. Li Mao and Chen Zhonghua didn't have so many barriers after getting along in the division competition. Chen Zhonghua smiled. I told the company's personnel to focus on preparing for the ranking event in April and try to get the professional 9th pin in one fell swoop. For the company, this is equivalent to saving money. The boss can hire one less bodyguard when he takes me on a business trip. This is the advantage of a compound talent. Don't worry, Li Mao. I won't take away your actual combat opportunity. Lu Qing, you also need to practice hard. He had a good impression of Lu Qing. He was a freshman who was busy preparing logistics last year. While they were talking and laughing, Geyser walked in. He looked around and signaled everyone to be quiet. He coughed twice and said, "There's no competition this year. We need to find our own actual combat opportunity to practice. I plan to form a team for our martial arts club and sign up for the preliminaries." Preliminaries. Except for Lu Qing and Yan Zhike who already knew about it, the others lost their composure. Some were surprised and some were shocked. They were using the entrance competition of the professional circle as practice. After a while, they calmed down and were full of joy, waiting for Geyser's next words. Geyser smiled faintly and said, "After the winter break, I'm not sure about the strength of you kids. Let's have a match later so that I can get a feel for you. Before that, I'll only announce the 2 main players of the preliminaries." 2 main players. Everyone looked at Lin Ke and Chen Zhonghua. The first one, Lin Quebec, Geyser's voice was a little louder. Everyone was calm and felt it was natural. Geyser coughed and continued. The second one, Lu Qing. P.S. More than 4,000 words. It's enough for other people's public news. Please recommend it on Monday. Wu Meng, Jiang Fuxing, and Li Xiaowen were very unfamiliar with Lu Qing. They only knew that he was a special training teammate and what he looked like. Usually, when they saw him, they would just nod and greet him. They didn't know his rank or his martial arts progress. At this moment, they were more confused than shocked. Is it that Lu Qing? Is he the Lu Qing we usually see? Or was it someone with the same name? If it was the former, how did he suddenly rise from a nobody to a main force in the qualifiers? Chen Zhonghua, Sun Jian, and Lin Hua's feelings were different from Li Mao's. They stared at Geyser, unable to believe that Lu Qing, who could not even enter the substitute list of the divisional competition more than 2 months ago, who could only do odd jobs like logistics, who had no imposing manner in normal times, had suddenly become the main force of the martial arts club without a fight. They just stared at Geyser, expecting him to say, "I was just kidding." They even forgot that Lu Qing was beside them and could see them if they turned their heads. In the indescribable silence, Lu Qing looked at Yan Zhike, only to see her wrinkling her pretty nose at him, as if to say, "Look. This is your sin." He couldn't help but smile. He glanced at Lin Ke next to him, wanting to see what the leader of the martial arts club thought of him as the second main force. He also wanted to see what his brother-in-law thought of him. Maybe it was because of the delay that gave Lin Ke time to recover. Lu Qing didn't see anything from Lin Ke's face. He was as cold and introverted as usual, showing no interest in anything other than martial arts. Qing. Why is Qing the second main force? It was Gui Qing who broke the strange silence. She blurted out and looked at Yan Zhike next to her in surprise, as if she wanted to get an explanation from her. Soon, she turned her head and looked for Lu Qing in the distance, trying to make sure that he didn't have 3 heads and 6 arms. Cough. Geyser coughed to attract everyone's attention. Then he ordered casually, "Lu Qing, Lin Ke, you 2 fight. I'll be the referee." Fight? With Lin Ke. Li Mao and Sun Jian finally looked at Lu Qing. They didn't know what to say, as if they were saying, "It's for real." Fight? With Lin K. Lu Qing was shocked at first, and then his body trembled with an indescribable feeling. This day had come earlier than he had expected. After the Jin Dan started to play a role in martial arts, he often fantasized about improving his strength day by day. When he was in his 3rd or 4th year, he would be able to realize the idea of a real man when he first met Lin K and compete with him for the position of the leader of the martial arts club. After the Little Warrior Sage Challenge tournament, he had a whole new understanding of his own martial arts level. He felt that if Lin K had not broken through to the Dan stage in another half a year, he would have a chance of winning if they were to fight again. When he started practicing Thunder Roar Zen this morning, he thought that once he mastered the basics of this martial art, he would have a chance to challenge Lin Quebec. This martial art shocked the opponent in fighting and the self in practicing. It shocked the bone marrow, meridians, and internal organs with the sound of thunder and gradually tempered them. It was to integrate the strength of the whole body and achieve absolute reaction, laying the most solid foundation for the Dan stage. But he didn't expect that on the first day of the new semester's special martial arts training, on the first day of Thunder Roar Zen, his master would ask him to fight with Lin K before he was ready. He closed his eyes, calmed down his trembling, and became excited and eager to fight. This was a fight with his former target. This was a fight with the young warrior who used to be high and mighty in his mind. To be honest, he had been worried that Yen Jika would fall in love with Lin Quebec. However, due to the huge gap between him and Lin K in all aspects, he couldn't bring himself to be jealous of him. Instead, he only felt a strong sense of jealousy and fear, as well as a sense of inferiority that he didn't want to admit. However, after knowing that Lin K was his brother-in-law, most of these feelings disappeared completely. No matter what the result was, when he could face him calmly, stand in the same arena with him, and fight with him fiercely, he would completely bury the feeling of inferiority in the past. Lin K's eyes seemed to brighten up a little. He strode out of the line and walked towards the arena. Lu Qing subconsciously looked at Yen Jike and saw that she was looking at him with a little worry. Worry? Lu Qing felt warm in his heart and was filled with more strength. He walked up the stone steps on the other side of the arena at a moderate pace. 3 minutes. Geezer sure made everything seem so formal. Then a soft voice came into Lu Chang's ears. It was Geezer sure. He said, "Don't use the power of blaze. Let me have an accurate grasp of your pure martial arts strength." Okay. Lu Qing nodded slightly and slightly pursed his lips. Looking at the cool but indifferent Lin K in front of him, he found that this was the first time he looked at him like this. He was no longer a target, but an opponent. Then how much did he know about his martial arts? In his memory, Lu Qing suddenly realized that he didn't know enough about Lin K's martial arts. On the surface, Lin K had participated in several matches, and he himself had watched the whole process, so it was impossible for him to lack knowledge. But after careful analysis, there was a big problem. Lin K's kung fu was either the most common combination of moves like cannon, hammer, whip, pull, tear, pull, and stir, or the 24 blizzard strikes that he learned after joining the martial arts club. What about his family's kung fu? As for Yen Jika, he was sure that their grandpa and grandma were not small masters and had inherited their unique martial arts. Why didn't Lin K use them? Although the 24 blizzard strikes was also a combination of ordinary moves such as cannon, hammer, and whip, once they were combined with different forces, different techniques, and different visualization methods, they would have different characteristics and different schools. For example, the ancient Xingyi like the tiger shape, the contemporary Xingyi like the cannon fist, the Wuthering 8 movements, and the great steel throwing hand. However, Lin K's moves were extremely ordinary and orthodox. They did not reflect the characteristics of his school at all. Did he not practice his family's unique martial arts? Impossible. When Master taught him the yin-yang stance on the first day, he was able to beat Qin Zhonghua quickly with the skill of changing the center of gravity. Obviously, he had already entered the threshold of meditation and practiced a similar visualization method. He had a deep understanding of the body and had a complete inheritance. Then why didn't he use it? Yan Zhike looked worried. Was there going to be an unexpected change this time? Would he use his family's martial arts? While speculating, Lu Qing was also analyzing Lin Kei's weaknesses. But because he did not know much about his martial arts foundation, he could only confirm one point. His physical strength was weak, and he could only last one round of 24 blizzard strikes in the district competition. But this was last semester. As for Lin Kei now, Lu Qing closed his eyes. He could vaguely hear his opponent's strong heartbeat and the sound of blood gushing through his body. According to Yan Zhike, his qi and blood were at the peak of the body refining state, which made up for his physical strength. Since he did not know his opponent well and could not grasp his weakness, then he should take me as the master. But if he took me as the master, he should show all his strength from the beginning, like a life and death battle. Thinking about this, Lu Qing calmed down and opened his eyes. Deep in his eyes was a piece of serenity, like a frozen lake. His body's center of gravity was adjusted naturally, constantly changing like flowing mercury. But opposite him, Lin Kei did not say a word, like an old monk practicing silent meditation. At this moment, Geyser coughed and said, "Start." The audience held their breath, waiting to see Lu Cheng's moves. Lu Cheng's footsteps were crisscrossing, and his center of gravity was constantly swaying, which made it easy for people to have an illusion. Suddenly, he saw Lin Kei step and slide, instantly changing from a standstill to a sprint, like the combination of Yi Yaoting's leopard form and Zhou Yuaning's Wuthering 8 movements. Not only was Lin Kei unbelievably fast, but he also grasped the timing perfectly. In an unexpected way, Lin Kei came in front of him, blocking the position where it was difficult for him to use force and dodge. That vision, that judgment, that footwork. Bam! Lin Kei's right hand punched out with a half-step crushing punch. The distance was short, and the force was so strong that it seemed to shake the air, leaving no chance for Lu Qing to dodge. Lu Qing did not wait to stop moving forward. He swayed his center of gravity, sprung his spine, and moved his back like a flood dragon, forcibly moving to the side and narrowly avoiding the punch. If not for his mercurial center of gravity, with his ability to control his body, he would not have been able to dodge in such a hurry. Hiss. Li Mao and others made different sounds. They did not have a direct impression of the level of Lin Kei's attack just now, but they felt that it should be so. But they were shocked by Lu Cheng's almost mysterious body movement. Just by this dodge, they could imagine his strength. Li Mao subconsciously looked at Kai Zhongming next to him, and smiled blankly and bitterly. Why do I feel that reality is a little bit like a fantasy? I have felt so for a long time. Kai Zhongming looked at the arena and sighed. Chapter 105. He moved to Lin Kei's side and avoided the fierce half-step crushing punch. Lu Qing was not in a hurry to attack. Instead, he adjusted his center of gravity again and tried to move to another position. The life and death battle with the ninth pin of the dark sect made him understand that killing moves were not always used alone. Instead, they were used one after another to prevent the enemy from finding a chance to turn the tables. Just like the time when he used the secret skill of spirit and imposing force, followed by the poison needle force. No master would think that once the killing move was used, everything would be fine and there would be no follow-up preparation. If so, how could Lin Kei be so sure that he would not be able to avoid his meteor-like attack? Once he dodged, what kind of prediction, preparation, and follow-up moves did he have? In the case of a gap in strength, one must not be careless. One must be cautious. This thought flashed through Lu Cheng's mind. His body had already made a decision. He straightened his back and wriggled his spine. As soon as his feet touched the ground, he swung again and flashed behind Lin K like a ghost. He had just left his original position when he suddenly felt a gust of wind. Lin K's right leg kicked out quickly and silently. It slid past his trousers and gave him a burning sensation. Hidden killing move, silent hidden kick. This kick made Lu Qing break out in a cold sweat. Because he did not notice it before, if he did not move cautiously, he would not have been able to avoid it when he saw the kick. During the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament, he had used the condensation stance to enhance his senses. Through the tug of Jin Tao's thighs on his pants, he had predicted Jin Tao's fast, accurate, and ruthless, tiger tail kick, and narrowly blocked that attack. But now, before Lin K's hidden kick, there was no sign, as if it was driven by an instantaneous explosion. The instantaneous explosion was supposed to be like inch force, tearing the wind, rubbing against the air and making short and strong sounds. But at this moment, it was silent. There was not even the sound of a normal move, which made it even harder to guard against. No matter what skill Lin K used, it must have involved his strong control of his body. It could not be done unless he was close to the Dan stage. Lu Cheng's heart skipped a beat, but he also found an opportunity. Because he had moved in advance, when Lin K's hidden kick was out, he had moved behind his opponent. At this time, Lin K had not retracted his right leg, so it was difficult for him to dodge or exert force. Since this was an opportunity, how could he let it go? Lu Qing lowered his center of gravity and lowered his waist into a sitting position. Seizing this fleeting opportunity, he visualized towering snowy peaks, thousands of years of snow, and lightning falling from the sky. Rumble. The layer of snow collapsed and the white stream turned into a raging wave. Lu Qing twisted his waist and turned his right leg to one side. He put his foot on the ground and transferred the power of the lightning fire stance and the avalanche to the ring. As if the arena was shaking, it bounced back with the same terrifying force. Lu Cheng's leg bounced up and his spine wriggled like a dragon. In an instant, he completed the transfer of power from his leg to his hand. It was as if he had stirred up all the strength in his body. The ferocity of fists and palms was not limited to the upper body, but between the legs and feet. After a winter's hard training, the reflection of his own problems in the challenge tournament, and the actual combat of life and death, Lu Qing dared not say that he had made up for his weakness in strength, but he had made a lot of progress. More importantly, he had a deeper and more subtle understanding of how to exert strength and how to mobilize the strength in his body. Between one punch, under the condition that his pure strength did not change, the power was a little stronger than in the challenge tournament. Although it was not as strong as a professional ninth pin fighter, he was qualified to fight head-on. A violent force surged through his back. He clenched his right hand and threw a downward chop at Lin K's neck. A loud and clear sound reverberated, and the bluestone ground that he had used as a source of strength was faintly crushed into pieces. Chen Zhonghua, Sun Jian, Li Mao, and the others were shocked to see Lu Qing, who used to be a nobody, not only dodge Lin K's terrifying attack, but also avoid the silent and dangerous hidden kick with a mysterious body movement. Not only that, but he also found a chance to defeat Lin Quebec. Once again, Chen Zhonghua, Sun Jian, Li Mao, and the others were shocked. Their eyes were wide open. Once again, they had a new understanding of Lu Qing. Even Kai Zhongming, who had watched Lu Cheng's competition videos, gasped. The strength of a professional ninth pin fighter in the video could only be seen with one's own eyes. But in reality, Lin K had a lot of battle records and daily performances. The feeling of defeating him and defeating a stranger of professional ninth pin were completely different. Yan Zhika had witnessed Lu Cheng's growth and experienced the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament with him. But at that time, she watched the video after knowing the result. She had expected the change and was full of confidence. But now, she had no way to know who the final winner was, and she was not sure whether the current change of the situation had determined the result. Her heart was full of emotions called anxiety and curiosity, so she watched with great concentration. Seeing that Lu Qing seized the opportunity to counterattack, she did not show joy, but a trace of worry flashed across her face. Bam! When Lu Qing clenched his fist and struck down, Lin Ke had just retracted his leg. Not only was his back facing the enemy, but it seemed that he had no time to respond. At this moment, Lu Qing saw his body suddenly tremble. He bounced to the left and evaded the attack on his neck. His shoulders shook and swung, releasing a force as powerful as a bomb explosion. He took the initiative to collide with Lu Cheng's fist. Bam! When the two came into contact, Lu Qing felt that after Lin Ke used the shaking posture to reduce some of the power, he actually followed the momentum of his own punch and leaned forward, wriggling his shoulders like a spring, giving him a strange feeling that his punch had hit cotton. Not good. Lu Qing suddenly realized. He wanted to adjust his center of gravity and return to his mercurial state. But at this time, Lin Ke was like a lever, pressing one end and bouncing the other end. When he leaned forward, he twisted his back, undulating his spine, tightened his thighs, and pulled out his left foot with a snap, causing half of his body to lean forward. Lu Qing had no time to dodge, so he had to continue to lower his center of gravity. His left hand quickly reached down and accurately pressed Lin Ke's leg like an eagle catching a chick. Bam! His ice-cold heart suddenly flashed with astonishment. He felt that the strength of Lin Ke's kick was beyond his imagination. It was surging and ferocious, even stronger than Yi Yaoting's outburst. It was as if two professional ninth pin fighters were exerting their strength at the same time. Borrowing strength. He removed half of my strength and borrowed the other half. What a terrible way to remove and borrow strength. As this thought flashed through his mind, Lu Qing was lifted backward by this majestic force. He lost his center of gravity and his left hand was numb. He could only stumble backward without any stance or footwork. Lin Ke would definitely not let this opportunity go. He would definitely take advantage of it and attack continuously, just like when he defeated Qin Zhonghua. Lu Cheng's shock had disappeared. His heart was like a lake of condensed water. Without thinking, based on his experience, he gave up on adjusting his center of gravity and directly leaned back. Taking advantage of the momentum, he kicked out his left leg with a snap. Iron bridge, dragon turning over. As soon as Lin Ke approached, he saw a kick whistling towards his face. However, he remained calm and didn't try to stop it. He didn't give Lu Qing a chance to take advantage of his strength. His spine wriggled like a dragon and he suddenly bounced to the side against common sense. The muscles of his right leg tightened and he was about to pull it out. Lu Cheng's kick missed and his heart tightened slightly. He simply gave up the idea of borrowing strength to stand up. Instead of dodging, he curled up his body and quickly rolled toward Lin Ke's position. As soon as he got close and Lin Ke's leg was about to pull out, he suddenly pressed down with his left hand. With the help of the rebound of the cold ground and the transmission of his spine, his right hand hit a strong and fierce soaring cannon, directly hitting Lin Ke's genitals. The blow of the dark sect ninth pin fighter had left a deep impression on him. Now he used the same move to seek victory in defeat. As for whether it would cause casualties, he did not consider it at all and left it to the referee to decide. This was a challenge tournament, not a performance. There was no room for hesitation. As the soaring cannon rose, a sense of desperation arose spontaneously. There were several unconcealable cries of surprise around. Lin Ke hesitated and did not choose to kick Lu Cheng's temple, putting life and death on the line. Instead, he adjusted slightly and whipped toward Lu Cheng's right fist, tearing the air. Bam! As soon as the two made contact, Lu Cheng immediately adjusted his muscles to feel the rebound. Borrowing strength, he straightened his back and bounced up. His left hand formed a fist and pushed it toward Lin Kei's chest and abdomen with the force of a mega avalanche. Lin Kei also borrowed strength. His body leaned to one side and his right hand moved like a block. With a strong and fierce force, he hammered Lu Cheng's fist. Bam! Lu Cheng's left fist was knocked away. But with a shake of his wrist, after a beautiful and delicate arc, he circled around and grabbed Lin Kei's right wrist. This is one of the moves of the big and small hand wrap. I don't believe that you've also mastered meditation and have such a strong listening skill. As soon as he grasped Lu Cheng's wrist, Lin Kei's body and shoulders bounced. His right arm shook and released Lu Cheng's left hand with an explosive force. Then, like a snake, he spread and tried to grab Lu Cheng's hand. In that small space, the two people's hands kept touching and separating. They listened to each other's strength and changed their own movements. Their joints and tendons would occasionally be torn or shaken apart, and they had no time to move their other arms and legs. After a few back and forth, Lu Cheng finally managed to grab Lin Kei's wrist with his superior listening skill. He was about to exert force when Lin Kei suddenly took a deep breath. The pores on his wrist closed and then opened. His skin seemed to expand, which not only bounced off Lu Cheng's fingers but also blocked his listening skill. At this moment, Lin Kei's temples bulged. He pulled his left arm slightly and punched forward at a very short distance. His speed was as fast as a shooting star, and his body seemed to grow bigger. Lu Cheng had no time to dodge or pull back his listening skill. He could only put his elbow in front of him and quickly lowered his center of gravity. Bang! The punch landed. Lu Cheng felt like he was hit by a bomb. His whole body was shaking, from muscles to bones, tendons to ligaments, blood to joints. His qi and blood were surging, and he couldn't exert force. Lin Kei seized the opportunity and stepped forward. He leaned sideways and pressed his shoulder against Lu Cheng's chest. Geezer coughed and said, "Lin Kei wins." Although Lin Kei won, Li Mao, Guiqing, Chen Zhonghua and the others who witnessed it felt like they had seen a devil or a miracle. They were speechless. Lu Cheng was not only a quasi-professional, but also a professional ninth pin fighter. And he had only been practicing martial arts for half a year. Half a year, Lin Kei took 2 deep breaths and looked at Lu Cheng with cold eyes. He nodded slightly and spoke for the first time today, "Not bad." Under the stage, Yanjike covered her cheeks with her hands and looked at Lu Cheng with sparkling eyes. P.S. At everyone's request, I'm updating in advance. Please recommend me. Chapter 106. Lu Cheng's current mood was quite complicated. He was happy to be able to fight with Lin Kei, his old target, and satisfied to have met his match. But at the same time, he also had a feeling of F***K. He had hoped to challenge Lin Kei after mastering Thunder War Zen, but in the blink of an eye, he was defeated by Lin Kei with similar martial arts or force. The feeling of being shocked all over was really uncomfortable. He really couldn't underestimate a young master with excellent qualifications and family history. As for the regret and pain of defeat, he didn't feel that strongly this time. How could losing to brother-in-law be considered a failure? This was a strategic victory. Didn't brother-in-law say, "Not bad"? When he came to visit in the future, he would definitely have a yes vote. There was a second just now when I thought I could defeat you. He shamelessly complimented Lin Kei nodded slightly and turned to walk to the stone steps. Lu Cheng instinctively looked down at Yanjike, only to see her slightly pursed pink lips, bright eyes, and slightly curved mouth. As soon as their eyes met, she suddenly turned her head to the side and blushed slightly. Is she satisfied with my performance? Lu Cheng stared at her without blinking. He felt as if his eyes had turned into a camera, memorizing Yenjike's beauty frame by frame. Yenjike seemed to feel his focus. She wrinkled her pretty nose, turned around, clenched her right fist, and made a posture like a rocket launcher with a fierce expression. Humph. Lu Qing seemed to imagine a delicate humph in his mind, as if he heard the girl say, "How dare you use this move on my brother?" This. Lu Qing blushed with shame and forced a smile. He put his hands together and begged for forgiveness. "Why are you standing on the platform like a fool? Go down after the fight." At this time, he heard Gizershir's angry voice. Pfft. Yenjike couldn't help but laugh. She couldn't keep the fierce expression on her face anymore. Her eyebrows relaxed, and her dimples showed. She looked like 100 flowers in full bloom. Lu Qing was stunned for a moment, but soon sobered up. He awkwardly scratched the back of his head and hurriedly moved forward. In a panic, he directly jumped out of the arena. The clueless Li Mao, Chen Zhonghua, and the others sensed the atmosphere and burst into laughter. Kai Zhongming, who was observant and knew the whole story, laughed so hard that he couldn't stand up straight. After this episode, the shock in everyone's heart eased a lot. They also accepted the fact that Lu Qing had miraculously improved by leaps and bounds. No matter how good his martial arts strength was, he was still the young and inexperienced freshman, the Lu Qing of the past. Seeing Lu Qing returning to the team, Li Mao gave a wry smile and expressed his surprise. "It's only been a while since we last sparred. How did you reach the level of professional 9th pin? Even if you're on a rocket, it won't be that fast." Lu Qing was pleased to hear that. He said modestly, "Senior brotherly, we haven't sparred since the start of the division tournament. It's been about 3 months, right? A scholar who has been away for 3 days must be looked at with new eyes, let alone 3 months. Even if it's been 3 years, I still can't accept it. Look at how hard I worked to improve from amateur 3rd pin to amateur 2nd pin. How can you improve so quickly? How can others live?" Li Mao said, half joking and half sighing. Lu Qing smiled and said, "It's probably because I'm talented in meditation. I've mastered the visualization of yin-yang stance and 24 blizzard strikes very quickly. My control of my body has become stronger. Naturally, my training is targeted. 1 piece can replace 5 pieces." He gave a brief explanation in a joking manner. Li Mao and the others didn't ask for a detailed explanation. Just this explanation was enough to comfort themselves and restore their emotions. They all sighed and praised Lu Qing. Among them, Chen Zhonghua said in a slightly disappointed tone, "You're right. If I had known, I would have delayed my graduation. With Lin Ke and you as the main force, our team will definitely make it. Maybe we can even enter the nationals." Lu Qing didn't know how to answer. He could only nod as a response. Beside him, Kai Zhongming lowered his voice and smiled. "Qing, about the competition before the summer vacation." Before he finished, Lu Qing interrupted him with a smile. "This is a man's promise. Are you going back on your words again?" "Of course not," Kai Zhongming said sternly. "What do you mean by again? But I think it's not enough to tie one hand. You should tie the other one as well." Lu Qing was annoyed and amused. "Do you want to tie both legs?" Kai Zhongming chuckled. "If you're willing." "Get lost," Lu Qing responded concisely. After everyone calmed down, Gizershir coughed a few times and said, "You don't have any objection to Lin Ke and Lu Qing being the main force in the preliminaries, right?" "No." Their voices were very loud and they shouted in unison. But the emotions in their tones were different, which made Lu Qing feel good. Gizershir nodded with satisfaction. "Next, let's continue the competition. Sun Jian, Li Mao, you two fight." Everyone's attention soon returned to the arena. Lu Qing was also interested in the performance of Li Mao and senior brother Sun Jian. Li Mao and senior brother Sun Jian were fighting very well. 24 blizzard strikes versus 24 blizzard strikes. The sound of collisions could be heard from time to time. The battle was so fierce that it was hard to tell who was the winner. They haven't entered the entry level of silence skill. 24 blizzard strikes only have the appearance but no substance. Lu Qing couldn't help but sigh.